What's the nicest thing your family promised you? My grandpa was the best, and he had a big farm with cows, chickens, and a red barn. I loved visiting him there because it was so much fun. But when I was 15, he got sick and passed away, and I felt really sad. Before he went, he told me the farm would be mine someday, and he wrote it in his will. I was sad he was gone, but I felt happy because I'd get his farm when I grew up. My uncle Greg told me he'd take care of it until I was old enough, and I trusted him because he was family, but I didn't know he was lying, and that made everything tricky. 3 years went by, and I turned 18 last month, so I asked about the farm. Uncle Greg told me it was gone because he had to sell it for bills, but I didn't believe him. I went to Grandpa's old house to find answers, and it was empty now, but I found a box in the basement. Inside were papers about the farm, and one paper was Grandpa's will. It said the farm was mine, not Uncle Greg's, so I kept reading. Another paper showed he sold it 2 years ago for a lot of money, and he kept it all. I got so mad my hands shook because it wasn't fair. I looked at more papers and saw he used the money to buy a big boat, and he named it Greg's Dream. I remembered him showing it off at a family picnic, and he told everyone he worked hard for it, but he didn't work for it. He stole it from me, so I decided to get it back. I didn't tell him I knew because I wanted to be smart about it. I went to a lawyer instead, and I showed her the will and the sale papers. She told me Uncle Greg broke the law by selling what wasn't his, and she said we could take him to court and make him pay me back. I told her yes, because I wanted what was mine. She worked fast, and she got a court date, so I felt hopeful. I also found out where he kept his boat, and I drove there one day and saw it. It was huge and shiny with a little room inside, so I took pictures of it because I wanted proof he spent my money. The lawyer told me those pictures would help, and I was glad. Court day came 2 weeks later, and Uncle Greg didn't know what was happening until he got papers telling him to come. I sat with my lawyer in the courtroom, and he walked in looking annoyed. The lawyer stood up and showed the judge Grandpa's will, and she told him it said the farm was mine. Then she showed the sale papers and the boat pictures, and she said Uncle Greg took my farm and used the money for himself. He tried to tell the judge he sold it to help the family, but the judge didn't believe him because the papers proved he was wrong. The judge looked at everything and decided Uncle Greg had to pay me back all the money, but he didn't have that much, so he had to sell his boat. I watched him sell it a week later, and he put a sign on it at the lake. A man bought it fast because it was nice, and Uncle Greg looked so mad when he handed over the keys. I got the money from the sale, and it felt good to have what was mine, but I didn't stop there. I found out he was hiding more stuff because he had a fancy watch and a motorcycle he bought with Grandpa's money too. I told the lawyer, and she made him sell those to pay me extra. He didn't want to, but the court told him he had no choice, so now he's got nothing left. He lives in a small apartment and works at a gas station because he lost everything. I took the money and bought a little house near Grandpa's old farm, and it's not the same, but it has a yard and a barn.